2 work yet. I've looked at the chapter 2 homework, and I'm going to kind of streamline it because I don't think you need to go over 4 or 5 sections for just the limits. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and streamline the homework on chapter 2. Everybody with me? So I may delete it and just give you 1 or 2 sections of limit homework. I'm just do not do the chapter 2 homework yet. Everybody with me? I don't think I've got to twist y'all's arm. I got people that haven't even started 1.1 yet. I don't know what's up with that. So I was fixing to say, if she's by the beach and drinking natural lights, I'm hanging up on her right now.
I don't have my red Solo cup out yet.
Okay, well, that's pretty good since it's only, 2 o'clock. I mean, at least 3 or 4. You could wait till 3 or 4.
I figured I'd be
it's
sober
5 o'clock
for
somewhere.
I was about to say it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about.
Hubert,
Okay, now that we know we're all alcoholics, let's go ahead and get started.
Hubert, there were a lot of 1.2 questions that doesn't give us any examples. So can we just send them to you? Is that all right?
Hold off on that too, because I'm going to try to go in there and take some of those off because those aren't supposed to be in there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go over 1.2 questions today. I don't know if some of them will be the ones that you wanted to be, but I'm going to go over some today. So okay. I want to do some fixing on the homework because I don't know. I have an idea who put those questions in there, and I'm going to stay quiet. All right, 1.2 13/6. 1.2 13/6. So let's see what this one is. Well, I thought I hit it. There it goes. Okay, the graph of the functions f and g in the figure are obtained by vertical and horizontal shifts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they want us to find formulas for the red and the blue graph. That's pretty simple. Okay. Now, the parent graph is the black line. So let me write this down right quick. I'm going to draw it while y'all are drawing it. The parent graph is the black line. And then they have the red one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they have the blue one at -1 and 1. Now, if you had me for 110 and 109, I drilled this stuff in y'all's head, okay? And y'all should remember it if you had me for 110 or 109. And what are you supposed to do? Well, you got to remember that when you're dealing with a horizontal and vertical shift, it's going to be in this form. This is absolute value. So it's going to be f of x is equal to a times x plus h, absolute value, plus k. And the horizontal shift is always going to be the opposite. And the k is going to be your vertical shift, and the a is your orientation. So since these are compared with our family graph, a is equal to 1. So we know that much. F of x is equal to 1 times absolute value, x plus h plus k. Now for the red, it's opening upward, which means the 1 is positive. So I'm going to write f of x is equal to 1. I'm going to put a positive right there because that means it's opening upward. And absolute value of x, we've got a horizontal shift of 3 to the right, which means -3. And then a positive vertical shift of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it's 5.
Yes. And that's going to be plus 5. So there is your answer for the red line. Now you don't have to put that positive and you don't have to put that 1, but I'm trying to show you something, so that's why I put it there. Now, if you had me for 110 and 109, you should remember me drilling this in your heads, the vertical and the horizontal shift. Now let's do the blue. F of x is concave down, so therefore it's going to be, I can't find my blue marker, a -1. Absolute value of x plus 1, and then down 1. Oops, I'm sorry. Plus 1, and then down 1. And that is your formula for the blue line. Is there any way they can ask you about the spread? No, they can't, because you can't do that with the naked eye. So they're assuming that this is the same as the black, and this is the same as the black as far as steepness and opening up. They're assuming that A is equal to 1. Is this a test question? Yes. I do put a lot of these on the test, or ones like it. Okay, so I'm not going to type all that in. Well, no, I'm just going to hit 3. So x minus 3 plus 5, is that what we got? Yep. And then this one is going to be x plus 1, negative absolute value, x plus 1 minus 1. Negative x plus 1 minus 1. That's a good test question. I like that one. I'm going to delete it since I've done it.
What question was that on the homework?
That was number 6.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Next one, delete 1.222/7. 1.222/7. 1.222/7. All right, I'm going to blow this up for the divas. So I'm going to blow it up for you. I know there's always a diva in the class. So there it is. Go ahead and write it down. I'm going to give y'all a second to write it down. Mr. Paris, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, you hadn't dropped yet. What's up with that? I thought you would drop by now.
I'm still on the fence. I really am. I might. It's been years since I've taken algebra, and I think I might have to go back.
No, come on now. Just study. Just go go on my YouTube and watch my 110 videos.
I have been.
Good.
I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. I'll give it a
All right.
shot.
I was just
Quit. I
kidding.
ain't
I didn't really
quit yet.
think you were going to drop. I was just kidding.
No.
All right. It was either you or Miss Seiler or Mr. Timmons because I was going along that bottom down there. All right, so we got 0. I'm drawing while y'all are drawing. 0 to negative 180. So let's go. I'm just going to put negative 180 down here. And then 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, a club plans to have a fundraiser for which $6 tickets will be sold. $6, $6, $6. $6 tickets will be sold. The room rental is $160. Oh, $180. P is equal to F over N. Find the equation. Now that don't say that because that's not sophisticated enough. Find an equation. That's what that means. Just hold your pinky up and say, find and graph the function P is equal to F of N that gives the profit from the fundraiser when N tickets are sold. That means find an equation. Notice that F of 0 is equal to 180. How many tickets must be sold? Okay, so I got everything written down, and probably some of y'all are sitting there going, I have no idea what to do. Okay, and if you do, don't feel pregnant. That's logical. You got a bunch of things there. You know, you got a whole paragraph there. And what does a paragraph do to y'all as students? What do y'all do when y'all see a paragraph?
Get intimidated.
Yep. Put the cross out. Okay. This paragraph, it only gives you two things. Only gives you two things. It gives you the y-intercept and it gives you the x-intercept. Wait a minute. What do you mean the x-intercept? Well, to break even, all right, this is very logical, okay? I want to ask y'all a question. If you're paying for a room that costs $180 and you're selling $6 tickets, how many tickets do you have to sell to cover the cost of the room?
30.
Good job. So break even is 30 tickets. So this point is if we sell no tickets, if we sell 0 tickets, we're in the hole $180. If we sell 30 tickets, we are not in the hole. Everybody with me? So now all you do is draw a line and give me the equation. See? Is this a good test question? Yes. Why is this a good test question? Because you use critical thinking. What did you use to say, well, 0 tickets means negative $180? That's critical thinking. And 30 tickets means that I'm not in the hole anymore. That's critical thinking. So I want you to find the equation for this line. So I'm going to let y'all do it because y'all know how to do it because we've already reviewed that. But just to give you a little bit of a hint, First, you got to find the what? The slope. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then, with a point and a slope, you plug it into the point slope equation. Okay, so do that. You got 2 points right here. So this is going to be 0, comma, negative 180. And this is going to be 30, comma, 0. So go to it. Somebody put something in the chat. I don't know if it's... Okay, I don't have to take the roll because for some reason Tri-County Tech turns off the attendance tracker on Thursday and Friday. I have no, no words. Just, they better not send me a freaking bureaucratic email saying I need to turn in my attendance. So.
Is the slope negative 1/6?
I have no earthly idea. Let's do it. Okay, here's my 2 points. This is x sub 1, y sub 1. This is x sub 2, y sub 2. So 0 minus a negative 180 over 30 minus 0, which is equal to 180 over 30, which is equal to 6. Mr. Michelle, did you use parentheses?
Yes, sir.
Well, you should have got it right instead of getting a negative 6.
I just
Those two
flipped them.
negatives.
I just flipped them upside down. That's all I did.
Okay. So that these 2 negatives make a positive. And that goes right here. And I'm going to pick a point. Somebody tell me which point you think I'm going to pick. I only got 2 people. Which one you think I'm going to pick?
0, negative 180.
No, you're wrong. I'm going to pick 30 and 0. Why? Because I don't like whips and chains. I don't like finding punishment for myself. Where's the punishment here?
That negative sign.
That negative will screw you up. So go with the positives. You don't have to. You can use the negative if you want to, but that's just extra work. You wasn't wrong, whoever said that. I'm just going to pick the 30 and 0. And that's going to be y minus parentheses equals parentheses times x minus parentheses. And this is x sub 1, this is y sub 1, and 0, 6, and 30. And your answer is y is equal to 6x minus 180. Or, I'm sorry, hold your pinky up. F of x is equal to 6x minus 180. There you go. Now, of course, you don't need to use x here. Use the number of tickets. That would be n. So f of, what is it? F of p. I don't know if they used p or what. What did they use? Let me see what they used. Yeah, p. Yeah, that's right. So it'd be f of p, or f of n, p of n. There it is, p of n. P of n is equal to 6n minus 180. So you type in 6n minus 180. And you should feel good about yourself. 6n minus 180. Yay! Graph it. Negative 180 is right there. 30 is right there. And you should feel good about that too. How many tickets must be sold to break even? You already figured that out. And we feel good about it. Now, I guarantee you there's somebody out there that looked at this problem at homework and you just skipped it. Either you skipped it or you said, I'll just send it to him because I don't know how to do it. And was it that difficult? Not really. Or you're just a quitter and you quit before you even start, one of the three.
Hubert, I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
What formula did you use in order to get the equation for the graph?
That's the point slope equation.
Okay, thank you.
Here it is. For those that need it. Point slope equation right there. Why do they call it a point? Why do they call it point slope equation? Because you need a what and a what?
Point and a slope.
You need a point and a slope to use it. Next homework question. I'm sorry, 1.2, 37, got two 37s, and this one comes from this class, so we'll use that one. 1.2, 37/12. 1.2, 37/12. Graph and analyze the functions. First of all, is this a test question? Yes. Now that's the bad news. You know what the good news is? It's a calculator question. So let's type it in your calculator. X squared minus 2 over x plus 3. I'm going to let y'all type it in. Give y'all a few minutes to type it in. I'm going to write it down on a separate sheet.
What number is this?
What?
What number is this on my labs plus?
1.2, 37/12. Now, the first thing we got to do, is this a fraction, yes or no? Yes, Hubert, it is a fraction. Thank you, class. Therefore, since it is a fraction, we've got to set the denominator equal to what? 0, because
0.
we cannot have a 0 in the denominator. So first of all, let's get that out of the way. We can't have a 0 in the denominator to blow the function up. And that's not a Hubertism term. I got that term from my professors at Clemson when I went to Clemson. So x cannot equal -3. So therefore, our domain for this function before we even start is all real numbers except x cannot equal -3. So make sure you get that before you even start. Now, for those of you that have no idea how to punch this in your calculator, because I know there's one or two out there that are going, well, how in the hell do you do the absolute values? Well, I'm going to show you. Y'all know I can read minds. Y'all know that, don't you? All right, so here we go. Graph, y is equal. Let me just delete all this. There we go. And I'm going to type in math, move over to numbers, and there's ABS, absolute value. There it is. And now you just type in a fraction. Now I like to put my fractions in parentheses. So parentheses, x squared, x, caret symbol, 2, minus 2, close parentheses, divided by, open parentheses, x plus 3, and close parentheses, and hit graph. Now it may not show up, and you may want to back out just to make sure. I'm going to zoom out one just to make sure everything looks like it looks like what it looks like. So I'm just going to go to the origin, and I'm just going to back out one time. There it is. So I'm going to draw mine on a sketch scale. So I'm just going to draw mine like this. And I'm going to draw some crazy asymptote looking thing like this. And then maybe something like this. I just drew a sketch of it so I don't have to go back and forth to the calculator. Everybody with me? Now, I can tell you right now that they're going to want several things here. And let me show you what they're going to want. I'm going to take my Zoom box. Now, I'm a CAD kid. I grew up on CAD. I grew up drawing plats for my father on CAD all the way up 1 through 13. Okay, so I'm used to using Zoom Window, so that's why I use Zoom Box. So I go up here, and I'm just going to highlight the left-hand corner, and I'm going to hit Enter, and then I'm going to pull down, and I'm going to draw a box around the saddle right down here. You could do it. You could do this with Window, but I don't use the Window because, like I said, I've always used Zoom Window on CAD. So there we go. And hit Graph or Enter. So you got a peak up here somewhere. We're going to have to zoom out again. And you got a saddle down here. So let's go ahead and find that peak. Well, Hubert, you don't know what the question's asking. I can guarantee you they're going to ask about this peak up here, and they're going to ask about this saddle and x-intercepts. I don't even know what the question's asking, but they're going to ask for that. That's all you can do. So I'm going to zoom up a little bit more. So zoom back. I'm going to zoom out one time again. All right, I'm going to find that peak right there. That's called the max. So I'm going to hit second, trace, and max. And I'm going to put that left-hand side near the left-hand side. Now, all you do, and when you do left hand and right hand, you're basically telling the calculator where to look. Kind of narrows it down a little bit. And there's your peak. So that peak right there is at -3, 5,024,354. That's where my Dogecoin was until China screwed up everything. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that's how many Shiba I bought. I got 7 million Shiba. So if it goes to, $1, I'm going to buy me a yacht. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go down to this saddle. I just did that. That's all I did. I put my numbers right there. And I'm going to go to the saddle now. So zoom box. Now, a lot of you say, well, this is taking a long time. Well, you got to work on this. You got to get to where you can do this in a short amount of time. Now, I'm doing it slow because I'm trying to show y'all how to do it. So you got to do this in kind of a fast, kind of fluent way. There's the curve area. And I'm going to hit zoom. And there's your saddle. Now, there's 3 things you can find here. The x-intercepts, the max, and the y-intercept. So write those 4 things down. The x-intercepts, the vertex, and the y-intercept. So let's do that. I'm going to find the zeros. So second, trace, 0. That means x-intercept. And put a left sample or a left guess and a right guess. And that tells the calculator, hey, calculator, look between these 2 dashed lines for the max or it's going to be around this guess right here. And that tells the calculator where to look. There is my left x-intercept. That's negative 1.414, negative 1.414, comma 0. And let's find the other x-intercept. Second, trace, 0. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a left-hand side right about there, and a right-hand side right about there. Mine's a little larger because I can't actually see it, so I'm going to make the area a little bit larger to search for. And there is, and that is my right x-intercept, 1.414, and it's symmetrical, but that doesn't mean anything with this problem because it's an absolute value. Now let's find our max. It looks like our vertex is right in here somewhere because this is lower and this is lower than this. So I'm going to make second max and I'm going to put my left one near that second mark over there, right about there. And I'm going to put the other one right about, don't hold down the button. If you hold down the button, it goes crazy like it just did. Some damn Russians. All right, there we go. But we don't have any more mean tweets. Stock market's falling, but we got presidential. It looks presidential. All right. And we all know that's what's important. There we go. So our max is negative 0.354, negative 0.354, and 0.708. Now, why am I rounding to 3 decimal places? I always round to 3 decimal places because of probability and statistics. That's just something I do when I'm doing decimals. All right, now I got to find the y-intercept. How do you find the y-intercept? Well, it's real simple. You put in second, trace, and value. X is equal to what at the y-intercept? 0, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you. 0.67 is your y-intercept. Now, have I given you everything I can give you about this question? Yes, except for the range. The range is going to be all real numbers because this one technically has an arrowhead on it, and this one probably has an arrowhead on it. It either goes up or it goes down, converging onto 0. But it looks like all real numbers. But I don't think it asks for the range. It's going to ask for the domain, I can tell you that. It's going to ask for probably these things.
Can you show how you got that 5 million one more time?
Yeah. You got to get that point. So zoom back. So it's up here in the left-hand corner. So I'm going to zoom out one time. Zoom out is basically going out. So I zoom out, and I just usually hit it one time. You can put it where you want to, but I'm going to just put it right here. And see, I got to zoom out again. This time I'm going to move it up here. So zoom out, and I'm going to move it up a little bit so I can get that point. There we go. There it is. Now I'm going to do a zoom box. Now you don't have to. I could do it from here. So I'm going to do it from here. Second, trace, max, because it is a point, a pinnacle. It is a pinnacle. And do the left side. There's the left side. And the right side. And then the guess. And there is your pinnacle. Does that help?
You got a different that the first time.
I'm sorry, you broke up, Mr. Parris. What'd you say?
You got a different Y value that time.
I did.
I value 5 million.
Huh.
I'm 4.
Well, I'll pull it up. Hold on. Zoom box. And I'm on zoom right there. Oops. Zoom back. Let me get in on close on it and I'll see. Oh, come on. Zoom back. Why is it doing this? Wasn't doing this a while ago. Gmail. Thank you. Zoom box. Zoom box, enter. I'm going to make sure I get the point this time. Okay. Zoom out. I'm going to have to, I don't want to do a window because that takes too long. I think I might as well just quit. Zoom out. Zoom out. I don't know why it's doing this. Zoom out. And I'm going to do a zoom window again. If it don't do it this time, I guess we'll have to go to the window and do it that way. This ain't supposed to be taking up the whole class period with this dadgum point.
You can move on. I was just curious.
No, I'm talking about the way this point is acting. See, it's not. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do second.
Is there
trace, and I'm going to do max, and I'm going to go up here as far as I can go, and then I'm going to put one to the right. And then I'm just going to go to the middle. And I know it's going to be around -3, so enter. Okay, that's the, I don't know why it's giving me two different answers. Now, what did it give us last time? I know it gave us 5 million. What did it give us last time I did it?
It was like around 3 million.
It should be somewhere around like 280 or something like, or 300.
Well, it's the peak is at -3. I think we can agree on that. The peak is at -3. Let's see what the question's going to ask. So there's the domain. What are the peaks? Well, there's a peak at -3. So I would say that. Why is it 0.3? I got 3. Why they got 0.3? And the valleys, there's one at -1.4, -1.414, comma, 1.414. Okay, I might as well just quit. Oh, at 5.6, we didn't look at that one. That's on the end. I didn't look at that one. I'm sorry. The x-intercepts are -1.414 and positive 1.414, and the y-intercept is at 0.67. Go jump in a lake. I got the right answers. I just didn't punch it in the way they wanted it.
So the
Forget
value.
this is not a test question because I'm not going to put y'all subject to this. This is ridiculous. What? What's your question?
So the valleys, they could be found by using the min.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're also the x-intercepts. In this case, they're the same. But you got to do that end point right here. Hold on. This point right here, you got to do it too. I didn't do it. You got to do that one. That's a min also. That's a valley. That point right there, I think it said it was at -5 point something. So I didn't even think about doing that.
Huber, are we going to be responsible for knowing like the points and the maximums and the minimums?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, is this a good problem to do it on? Hail to the no. Okay.
We couldn't find that 1 point because it's an asymptote, right?
It looks like an asymptote, but it doesn't say it is. It says it's a point.
I think it would go to infinity, which is.
I agree with you. It looks like it's messed up because I'm getting 2 or 3 different answers. But anyway, that's it for the question, I think. That's not a good test question. I thought it was good, but that thing is all messed up. But it's a calculator drill. So if you want to learn how to use your calculator, This is the question right here. All right, let's move on. Move on to one that's less confusing. 1.2 47/14. 1.2 47/14. 1.2 47/14. Determine the slope function for the function on the right. Well, you got two slopes. So go ahead and find them. I'm going to let y'all. There they are right there. Trying to get it where you can see everything. There you go. So you got to find 2 points on this line. And you got to find 2 points on this line. Knock yourself out because that's all review algebra stuff. And I know I'm going to pick this point. Why am I going to pick this point? Because it is for both lines. So I'm going to pick that point. I'm going to take my handy dandy. I'm going to pick this point. That's going to be 1 point for both lines. And then down here, I'm going to pick this point because that's 0. And then on this line, I'll change it to blue. I'm going to pick this point, and I'm going to pick this point. Why am I picking that point and not any of the other points?
So you don't get a decimal?
It's that there's a fraction or a decimal, yes. That's why I picked that blue one right there. All right, so in fact, find the equation, find the slope and the equation. We're going to find both. I'm getting a little review here. Even though the question may not ask it, I want you to find the equation and the slope for both lines. And I'm going to draw a sketch. And the pink line is going to use -5 and 0. -5, 0, and 0, 5. And that's that line. And the other line is blue. And we're going to use 4, 4. And 0, 5. I'm just writing everything down so we don't have to go back to the question. And that's what I got. So for the magenta line, this is x of 1, this is y sub 1, this is x sub 2, this is y sub 2. This is a good question because they're not asking you how many people attended Wimbledon and what were their addresses. Okay, this is a good question because it's asking for the slope, and I'm asking for the equation to give you a little bit more review of this line, and I'm asking for the slope and the equation for this line. Concrete, cut and dry. That's the kind of questions I ask on a test. I don't ask the Philadelphia lawyer questions on the test. M is equal to 5 minus 0 over 0 minus a -5, which is equal to 5 over 5, which is equal to 1. Therefore, M is equal to 1, and I'm going to use 0, 5. Y minus 5 is equal to 1 times x minus 0 And that's going to give us y is equal to x plus 5. So there's my equation for the magenta line and my slope for the magenta line. Now for the blue line, x of 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. M is equal to 4 minus 5. Oops. There we go. Over 4 minus 0. And M is equal to 4 minus 5 is negative 1 over 4. Therefore, we've got a slope equal to negative 1/4, and I'm going to pick 0, 5. Why would I pick 0, 5 over 4, 4?
Because you've already done it for the other one.
No, not necessarily. The 0 is a whole lot easier to do math with than a 4. But you're right, you already know because you plugged in 0 and 5. So there's 2 reasons there I'm using 0 and 5 again. You don't have to. Y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/4 times x minus 0. Y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 5. And the slope is equal to 1/4. Good test question there. Or that's the type of question I would ask. Find the slope or find the equation, one of the two. KISS method, keep it simple.
So they're 2 separate lines. Like there's not. It's not
Yeah,
like.
this is- yeah.
Okay.
This is what you call a piecewise function. Write that down. Because they go through that in the next chapter, chapter 2, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. If you can do what I just did here, you're good to go. Now the domain for the magenta line is from negative 5 to 0, and the domain for the blue line is from 0 to infinity, because this little tail right here looks like it keeps on going. I don't know. It looks like to me it keeps on going. This one kind of stops right here. So you kind of think that the domain for this one is negative 5 to 0. And then the domain for this one would be 0 to infinity because of that little tail right there. So let's look at it and see. Oh, okay, it didn't show a tail. But they're assuming, I don't know, this is one thing I got a problem with on the book. These look like they stop. These lines look like they stop. But some questions, they go to infinity, and I'm like, well, they look like they stop. They don't have an arrowhead on it. But anyway, we got 2 lines right here. The first one is, what is it? X plus 5. X plus 5. And the ones that are positive, greater than 0, is negative 1/4 x plus 5. Negative 1/4 x plus 5.
Sir, I think it asked just for the slope, not for the equation.
Oh, it's just asking for the slope.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's the slope of the first line?
It was 1, sir.
1. And the slope for the second line
Negative
is negative 1/4. I like that question. That's pretty short and sweet. Now I did give y'all extra. I gave y'all extra by doing the equation because that gives you an extra extra practice on that. Who's got a question?
I do, sir. How did you know which slope to put it in for that problem?
Well, X is negative here.
Hmm.
X is negative. These values right here are negative, which just means X is less than 0. These values are positive for the blue line, which means X is greater than 0.
Okay.
This means positive, and this means negative. That's how I knew.
Okay, that makes sense.
Next question. That was 1.247. 1.281T. Find and use slope. I'm confused. I'm Hubert. Nice to meet you. Imagine a lidless box with height h and square base whose sides have length x, x, and x, and x. The box must have a volume of 112 feet cubed. Imagine a lidless box with h being the height and a square base whose sides have length x. Find and graph the function s of x that gives the surface area of the box for all values of x greater than 0. Okay. Let's draw this out. We're going to have to. It says a lidless box with height h, and everything just disappeared off my screen. What the heck? There we go. So we've got a lidless box. Let's see. All the sides, it says all the sides. And so this is x, this is x, this is x, and this is x. And then it's got a height of h, and then the volume, which is length times width times height, which is x times h, x times x times h is equal to the volume, because length times width times height is equal to the volume, right? Oops, I'm sorry. So somebody make sure that I'm not crazy. This is x times h, that's the volume. The volume is equal to 112 cubic feet. And we've got, find, okay, they've got to give us a little bit more than that. Imagine a lidless box with height h and a square base whose sides have length x. The box must be find and graph. Well, that's x squared times h. We can't graph that because we can do, okay, we can do this. We can do h is equal to 112 divided by x squared. Let's see what that looks like. Graph it. y is equal to, clear, 112 divided by x squared. I'm just thinking out loud right now. And enter. Graph. Trying to see if it's got a max. That's what they're wanting. Zoom. Standard 6. And zoom fit. That's what it looks like. I don't know if that's what they want or not. Find the graph, the function s of x that gives the surface area of the box for all values of x is greater than.
They just give you
Based on-
like the equations. They want you to make the equation, and then the next part has something to do with the equation.
Well, the equation I got is 112 over x squared, but I don't know if that's what they, and then based on your graph, estimate the values that produce the box with the minimum surface area. Let me just see if that's, okay, this is one of your questions that they don't show. Okay, there it is, right there. 112 over x squared, so I wasn't crazy. No, that's not right.
Maybe it's x squared plus 112 over x.
They're wanting the surface area. Your function
Surface
is
area.
volume.
Well, they shouldn't have said the volume then. Oh, there's the surface area right there, dumbass. Sorry. Sometimes I call myself a dumbass because I don't read. The surface area right there, but why did, okay, all right. I didn't read the question. I'm sorry. I think it's about time for me to quit today. I didn't read the question. The question asked with the surface area. All right, the surface area means that h times x, 4 times h times x, and then you're going to multiply that by x to the 4th, or x times x, because that'll be the surface area of the bottom. X times x is the surface area of the the bottom. And then I'm just going to do one of the sides. Let's do this side right here. One of the sides area is x times h. But how many sides do we have? We have 4. So the surface area of the sides, h times x times 4. Does everybody see that? So if I was to say the volume is equal to 112, and then I have the surface area, I'm trying to see how to coordinate this. That's where they get the 4 from. And I'm trying to see, let's see, x times x, x squared times, that's going to be x squared
They would have to
times 4hx, which is going to be 4hx cubed. And that's the surface area. Unless I'm doing something wrong.
Right, but they're saying the volume has to be 112. So your volume function and your surface area function would be equal to each other?
Yeah, and then you would divide the 112.
Scroll down on the answer choices.
I'm sorry, what?
Scroll down on the answer choices to see what D is.
Oh, there's a D.
There's a D. And I
I'm
think it's
sorry.
that one because I did the first part of this one. I think
There
think
it is, right
D
there.
is right. Yeah.
It should be D. Because 4 times 112, 4 times 112 is 448. I'm gonna have to research this one a little bit.
I'm confused, but where do you get the 448 over X?
The 448 is from 4 times 112.
Right, I understand that, but where do you get it over X?
Oh, I know where. You don't multiply this, you add it.
So I think you
thinking
substitute
out
the
loud.
H.
You take the x squared plus 4xh times x. Let me do some thinking on this one because I'm trying to figure out how to explain it to you, because you have to take in effect that daggum 112. Let's stop right there because I want to make sure I have it down right before I try it. And of course, this must be a new question because they don't give you a help me solve this. So I don't know where this question come from, if it's new or what, because most of them have a help me solve this. Why would you ask the publisher? They never would contact you. Let me work on this. There's the A. A should be your answer there. But
I think when I did it said B was right. Because
B?
I got the I got the first 2 parts right. It was the third part that I was like I
Okay.
couldn't figure it out.
All right, let me work
don't know
on this
why,
one. We'll
but-
start with this one tomorrow, okay? Y'all don't come tomorrow, do you? So y'all have the weekend. So this is what I want y'all to do for the weekend. I want you to continue to work on 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. Do not work on chapter 2 yet, okay? And hopefully I can take the weekend and I can streamline chapter 2, because we don't need to spend a week or 2 on all that stuff when we can just get by with maybe 1 class. Y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see y'all Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See
sir.
y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
If we